All right.
Got plenty of time.
One of the things we can do is let's listen to George Will's prophecy.
Let me give the Democrats a warning. In the spring of fall and summer of 2015, you had 18 Republican candidates on stage, and the most lurid stood out. In the summer of 2019, there will be 18 Democrats on stage, and maybe the most lurid will stand out there.
Okay, lurid. I mean, he's more outspoken. Is that what? Okay. So he's really pointing out that exact thing that you're illustrating for us. The shift in a political style to kind of gain attention.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but the question is whether he's right. I mean, he's trying to describe Trump as though he's an individual phenomenon, a populist, a dogmatist, and that therefore maybe someone like that. But I have not tried to do that. I've tried to sketch a broader phenomenon. I saw a connection between what Bernie was doing, which was speaking without a script, and what Trump was doing. They were doing different things, but there still was a general phenomenon about not being polite and scripted and substantive and educational. And so Will is saying, maybe the most lurid will win. But the truth is, when we look this over, we actually are finding that there's mixed results on this thesis. And take a look at someone like Hickenlooper. Hickenlooper was the only candidate in the race who I was enamored with. I wanted to work on this campaign. I told you I have this neutral posture, agnostic posture about what's going to happen in the race. I really do now because my horse is out of it. But Hickenlooper, by the way, if I was advising Hickenlooper, I would have said, instead of being John Hickenlooper, you ought to change your name to John Hickenlooper Dillon. That way John Dillon could be running. I don't know but anyway. Okay, so anyway, you got, he was someone who was, I guess he was boring. But, I looked at him and I said, I think you've got a lot of interesting ideas. I think you've done a lot of things, but the boring person just couldn't get any traction because there was no lightning rod. There was no carnival. There was nothing. There was no excitement. On the other hand, though, when you look at people who are trying to do this, Gillibrand is out. Gillibrand is saying all kinds of, passionate things. Let's call it this way, the overly passionate. And Beto is struggling. Beto's out there, got his F-bomb T-shirt. Beto's, been trying to get himself some attention, and I don't think it's working. But then again, Bernie and Elizabeth, aren't they the most passionate people? Now, I think Elizabeth usually does have a script, but still, it's a passionate script. She got a plan for everything. And so these are the really passionate people, and they're doing reasonably well. Wouldn't you say that one of the problems with Biden is that he's boring?
Well, I don't know. I would say that Biden is, he has that image of a statesperson, but right. I don't know. Yeah, boring. Yeah, maybe a little. Maybe a little. I'm no representative of my generation, but maybe a little.
Yeah, I mean, so this George Will thesis is interesting. I think there's mixed results on it. I don't think that the most lurid person is going to conquer the Democratic Party, but I think Will has the wrong thesis because it's too focused just on Trump rather than this broad general phenomenon. What I think is going to happen is when we reach the point in time when Trump is gone, whenever that is, I think this dynamic, it's a dynamic, and I think it may still stay with us.
So can I challenge something that I'm going to challenge something here, Dr. Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
We've got be centrist, appeal to both sides kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other hand, we have be very passionate. But that passionate side goes, hand in hand with being kind of a loudmouth,
Yeah. Yes.
So, those look like two different strategies to win an election. And it's seeming like maybe there's a little bit more weight to Trump's approach.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually very interesting. Being passionate means being unguarded. It sometimes means being loud. It means being direct, and it means sometimes saying things that aren't exactly well conceived. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting. It's almost like Americans, when they go shopping, they want to buy something that's got bright colors. Let's say a shirt you buy and it's red. You're like, woo, you like the red shirt, because it's got a pizzazz to it. So there's kind of this shopping element out there. How do you feel about this person? And they're getting excited. The thing that was interesting to me, if you look at someone like Jimmy Carter was a good man, bad president, but he was also, I think everyone would agree, he was very, very boring. All right. But, when I look at Bill Clinton, I wasn't bored with Bill Clinton. And I think it's because we had a little bit larger attention spans. The thing he would do is he would provide a degree of education in the speech he was giving. Like he'd provide facts and figures and would give you something called policy education.
You learn something.
Yes. It had a little bit of a professorial dimension to it. And I just don't think we have the patience for that anymore. I think it's all like this YouTube thing. We're all itchy. We want it right now. Give it to us. And the best way to do that is, frankly, through being a loudmouth.
We had longer attention spans back then as compared to now.
Yeah. I have, I don't know if we have enough time. If we do, I have one more clip. It's not the greatest clip in the world, but we still have one more if you want to hear from Mayor Pete, number 8.
The minimum wage is just too low. And so-called conservative Christian senators right now in the Senate are blocking a bill to raise the minimum wage when Scripture says that whoever oppresses the poor taunts their maker.
So in other words, don't take any single Scripture passage and say you're either with God or you're not with God if you vote for my plan.
I took offense to that, too, the so-called Christians. I hate it when people say that.
Huh.
All right. So there you go again. Where is this said? It's not like someone caught a video of him saying this privately. He goes on national television in the debate and wants to talk about raising the minimum wage. And in order to talk about that, the way he's going to do it is say, "Oh, these so-called Christians don't want to do it." Like you're going to create a holy war on this now.
Right. That's not policy education. It's kind of ignoring.
Yeah.
Probably some of what I would feel are more salient topics. Looking at certain facts.
Right.
Facts
and figures. It used to be. This is the way it used to go. Someone would say, well, I was going to do something like, you adjust for inflation and, that in real terms, they're not getting the same amount of money and we're only asking for, probably they don't say that because they're not asking for just an adjustment in inflation.
Mm-hmm.
They want like a $20 wages. That's what Bernie and some of these people want. But that's the way it used to be. It used to give you some kind of analytical reason why. And now all of a sudden, the reason why is that the people who are the fake Christians are the ones that aren't doing.
Why won't they do it? Because they're going to hell. That's why.
Yeah.
Instead of exactly.
The one thing. Though I don't want to pick on Mayor Pete because I actually think Mayor Pete is doing a good job. I think he's not a loudmouth. I think if you look at Mayor Pete, he actually has been very good. And I like the fact, the one reason why I think he did this is he's been telling people very much how much his faith is important to him. He's a gay male and he very much is a Christian. And I like that. I like that he's got a sense of Christianity and he wants to dialogue with that, with people who might have some prejudices. And so I think that if I was advising him, I would have told him not to say that at the debate stage. I think it was foolish to say it, but I'm not at all lumping him in with some of these other people because I think he's not a loudmouth. I think he's a substantial person. In the future, I think he's going to be a real asset to the Democratic Party. I like him a lot.
Gotcha. So I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Mayor Pete's, he's gay.
Yeah.
He's religious.
Yeah.
Just from what we heard in the last clip.
Yeah.
Looking at the other side, do you think that there is, in the last week or so, has there been any more development on other candidates for the Republican nomination?
Yeah. There's another guy that came out. They're going to have Sanford from South Carolina. And mostly where we are in that, Adam, the thesis we presented in a prior show about Trump being in trouble, I don't think it's necessarily true just yet. You have these candidates trying to run against them because they think that the donors are upset with them and they think that there's going to be a stream of money. So it's like fish coming around the bait. They want to get in on it. But my guess is that behind the scenes, the Republican people are trying to close ranks and they're trying to make it so they can manage this. I think they realize that their only hope is to try to stay with Trump.
But try to change it instead of fracturing the party.
Yeah.
maybe they want to just change Trump to try to make deals with China rather than try to pull our companies out of China.
Right.
I could see that.
The one thing I want to say, so we got a couple of minutes here about this show. One of the things we need to do is try to figure out future topics. I wonder if the audience would want to suggest topics to us that they'd want to hear. We'd certainly be involved in that. I really would like to get other people involved if they wanted to get involved, some audience members, maybe some other faculty members. One of the things that we could do maybe one day is break format, do a round table. We bring in some people.
That'd be really cool.
We have like 10 topics and just go break format, and we'll just go around the table on each topic. We also wonder if we want to ever do anything with the young Democrats or college Republicans. I don't know.
Round table. We'll call it the round table.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
that'd be cool.
It'd be interesting also if we could do this in a classroom, which I don't think we could.
Well, we can remote broadcast from a classroom. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, there we have it. So, yeah, quite a bit there. How do you win an election, and how much has political tact, style, and strategy changed within the last 3 years?
Yeah. I mean, the first part of the show is what this economy is going to do, and chipping away some of the voters who you think are going to vote a certain way, but maybe not in the same proportion that you think because the economy is doing so well. And then the other side of it is these campaign styles. What is going on out there? Is it going to stay that way? And is this something that gets value, gets an advantage for these people, or is it something that ends up not getting them an advantage?
Terrific. You're listening to Good Politics with Dr. Wilson.
And Adam Whiteman.
That's me. Till next time.